guys, the long-awaited season 27 settings. Right, so these are my season 27 settings. I'm gonna try to explain it as best as possible. As you can see, I have it set up where you can see the cable, you can see where the cable is going, and you can see my controller. If you want organic, legit gameplay, just check out my channel on Twitch. I stream almost every day after work. So yeah, let's get into the settings. Alright, so for the settings that I use, it's not gonna be like a overall general settings for all of my settings that I use. If you guys want a settings video like that, a complete settings video for my Apex, you can drop a comment, let me know, like the video, show me that you actually want to see this type of content. It's gonna be mainly about my sensitivity. Most of my content is based about sensitivities. For the sense that I use, it's 4-1 linear, no dead zone. Right? I don't play with vibration. I don't play with inverted look. The per optics, the default per optics are off. These are not a factor in my sense. For advanced look controls, you have everything on the lowest, so 0. Everything's zeroed out. For the ALC per optics though, you need to have this on 2.8 and everything else on 2.9. If you don't have this on, then you're gonna, when you come out of your ALCs, then this is what's gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to move your stick, right? So you need to have your ALC per optics on. Don't turn those off. You're turning off ALCs, but you're not turning off the per optics, right? So you need to have the per optics on in ALCs for the sense to work. So I switched over to GameSir, the GameSir Nexus app on Xbox. As you can see, I have some profiles at the top. It's gonna be between these two right here, the small dead zone and no dead zone. I play on the no dead zone mainly, but I know that not one sense fits all. So, but for the sense that I use and the settings I use for my GameSir G7 Pro right now, for the buttons, I think this is a game changer for me, because I changed my button layout basically. I no longer use, let me show you, I no longer use the trigger. I used to use this as my main shoot button, but now I actually use this button here in between as my shoot button, as my right trigger. For me, it makes me hold the controller a bit better when aiming. I think it improved my aim quite a bit. Just the ergonomics of my hand positioning now is better. The L5 button, this button, I use for reloading. More often than not, you'll still see me use like the face buttons, because I'm still getting used to these buttons up top. But yeah, so reload, interact, all these good stuff. This button. My shoot button is this. I still use the trigger here though to ADS. The buttons at the back, the right one I use to slide, left one I use to jump. Getting into the stick settings for the GameSir. For the left stick, I have 0 for the dead zone on the initial, 100 on max. Anti-dead zone is going to be 0, and then 100 on the max. Curve adjustment, you're gonna have it on the 3rd curve. This is what I just found to be like good for me, because as you can see with the curve, it's slightly faster at the start and then it slows down to the end, like just slightly. You might not be able to see it. I might have to like exaggerate it for you to see it. So yeah, As you can see, faster at the start, slower at the end. So basically, it improves you moving left, right with your strafing and your left stick movement, right? But I have this on 55, and then the stick trajectory is going to be on circle. Advanced mapping is going to be 50. And these settings are the same as in the other screen. For my right stick, I have 0 for initial dead zone, 99 for the max. Anti-dead zone is going to be 0. Max is going to be 100. The curve adjustment is going to be this third curve again, and it's going to be on 47 for this. So instead of it being faster, so let me exaggerate it a bit. So instead of it being faster at the start, it's going to be slower at the start, and then it's going to get faster at the end. So basically, obviously if you want to aim more precise, you want more control at the start of your pull, right? And then if you get to the highest part of your curve, most likely you're hip firing, so you're going to be moving left, right, or you're going to be turning around, so you want faster movement for that. So that's why I use this curve. I think it's an S curve. I don't know if it's reverse S curve, but I think it's called S curve. I use 47 for that. The stick trajectory for this is going to be circle. Now for advanced mapping for this, it's going to be 49. I'm gonna tell you what advanced mapping does. Basically, if you look at your sticks as like a flat plane, this is going to be X, so your left and right, your X plane, and this is going to be Y, your vertical, your up and down. Now it says X and Y sensitivity scale. What this does, I'm going to exaggerate it a bit and then show you in game. So I put it to the horizontal side, right? What this does is going to make your horizontal movement a lot faster. Going to make it a lot faster for the stick, and your up and down is going to be slowed down. Like you can see it on the graph. Like you notice, I'm not able to go all the way software wise. Like my stick physically is touching the rim of the controller, but like software wise it's not going to read 100% of your stick. So if you try to move up, you notice it's slow, but when you move left and right it's very fast. Like you see that? I would not recommend having this this high, because you're not going to be able to track people like dropping off of buildings or dropping in front of you. Like you see, I can still shoot with it, but I wouldn't recommend this because it affects both your hip fire and obviously it's going to affect your ADS sense. So I wouldn't recommend using like such a high value on either one of these. Let me put it like on vertical. Now you're able to move fast on your vertical, but you can't move left and right. So I mean, you can take the information that I'm using, you can make it your own, play around with it, see what works for you. But my preferred settings for this is just to barely affect it. So like 49, probably 48, but 49 is what I've seen work for me. So that is what I'll use. That's what gives me the best tracking, best aim for me. Now for the triggers. I use these settings. The initial dead zone for the left trigger is going to be 0. The max is going to be 99. Anti-dead zone is going to be 0. Max 100. The curve for this is going to be the first one, linear. And here trigger mode is going to be off. And for my right trigger it was 0, 100, 0, 100, and then the stick curve is linear, and the hair trigger mode was off. Vibrations, I don't play with vibrations on, so everything is off for this. These settings are really good for me. I said, what I've explained, you can use whatever you think is best for you. These are the settings that I use normally in game. As you can see, it's natural aim, guys. I don't have a Zen, I don't have any Titan. Yes, you can aim like that. Obviously, I'm not gonna be hitting this every single time for 400, 300 plus because I'm using natural aim. Obviously, I'm making mistakes in my recoil correction, right? So yeah,